Railways, one of the fundamental forms of land transport credited to the development of any nation, and Australia is no different. There is no other form of land-operated transport in the world which can deliver that which rail can in freight and passenger en masse in one journey. The New South Wales XPT has a maximum speed of around 300 kilometres an hour, but is limited due to infrastructure to 160 kilometres an hour. In May of 2010 and again in 2012, a steam train tour from the Lachlan Valley Railway visited Casino for a week each time, to allow people to enjoy train travel from days long gone. These tours were an enormous success for people of all ages, despite wet weather conditions on both occasions. I wonder, out of all those who saw or travelled the train, ever considered where and when did railways begin? To find out when and where railways began, we must wind the clock back over 2,000 years to ancient Greece, to where archaeologists have discovered the earliest form of railways to date in the Diolkos wagonway. It is located on a small stretch of land between the Gulf of Corinth and the Saronic Gulf. It was 6 kilometres long and was used to transport the boats across the Corinth Isthmus in Greece. Called the Diolkos wagonway, this rudimentary railroad was used since around 600 BC. Wheel-based vehicles pulled by men and animals ran in grooves in limestone, which provided the track element, preventing the wagons from leaving the intended route. The Diolkos was in use for over 650 years, until at least the 1st century AD. The first horse-drawn wagonway also appeared in ancient Greece, with others to be found in Malta and various parts of the Roman Empire, using cut stone tracks. The width of these cut stone tracks was 4 foot 8.5 inches, which is today's gauge width for a standard gauge railway line, and is based upon the width of the wheels of a Roman chariot. A Greek mathematician, scientist and inventor, Heron of Alexandria, who lived 10 to 70 AD, is mostly renowned for his works in mechanics, mathematics and physics, invented a device known as an eolipile. This device had no specific use except maybe as a child's toy, but demonstrated the power of boiling water to create steam and the power of steam to create motion. It was presumably intended as a temple wonder, but was the first type of steam engine. In recognition of Heron's contribution to steam engineering, the US Navy chose the semblance of the eolipile for the boiler technician rating badge. In 1781, James Watt, a Scottish inventor and mechanical engineer, patented a steam engine that produced continuous rotative motion. These 10 horsepower engines enabled a wide range of manufacturing machinery to be powered. The engines could be sited anywhere that water and coal or wood fuel could be obtained. He was responsible for improvements to the steam engine of Thomas Newcomen, where it was used to pump water out of mines. Watt developed a reciprocating engine capable of powering a wheel. On February the 21st, 1804, the locomotive hauled a load of 10 tons of iron, 70 men and 5 extra wagons, the 15 kilometres between the ironworks at Pennydarren and the town of Merthyr Tydfil, to to the bottom of the valley called Abyssinia. The one-way trip took about 2 hours. It was to be several years before steam locomotion became commercially viable, meaning Richard Trevithick, and not George Stephenson, was the real father of the railways. On our next port of call in our passage through time is Australia. It is about the same time as the Rainhill Trials, 1829, in the United Kingdom, that the first form of the railways appeared in Australia, in Tasmania, on a wooden railed wagonway. It was located 89 kilometres southeast of Hobart, the dreaded human-powered railway which ran from the convict prison at Port Arthur to the jetty at Little Norfolk Bay. This railway line was designed to carry passengers and supplies from the security of Norfolk Bay across the narrow stretch of land to Port Arthur and Long Bay. The aim was to avoid the rough seas which characterised sea journeys from Hobart Town to Port Arthur, which were forced around the Cape. The technique used was to get 4 convicts to push the carriages along the 7-kilometre wooden line. This photo from 1928 shows a forestry worker in Tasmania operating a motorised tractor running on wooden rails, even after rail services began in 1871. When the railways first ran in Australia, and for some years after, there was little or no thought of the system of one state, colony, linking up with that of another. For the most part, the lines were gradually extended farther and farther out from the system's capital city into the country to tap the agricultural wealth and transport it to the seaboard for shipment. The problem of the different rail system gauges was emphasised when World War I magnified it. From 1914 till 1918, World War I raged, and railways played a major logistic role in the movement of both manpower and materials on both sides of the conflict. The tracks were quick and easy to construct and could handle large loads, including massive artillery guns. The rail gauge differences in Australia was magnified as each rail system stopped at their borders to exchange materials and passengers to the other states' different gauge trains. New South Wales was 4 foot 8.5 inches, the world standard gauge based on the British system. Victoria and South Australia was 5 foot 3 inches, based on the Irish gauge. Queensland, Western Australia, Tasmania and the Northern Territory was 3 foot 6 inches, known as the narrow gauge, built to save money. These were the 3 major gauges in Australia, and none of them joined each other at this point in time. It is a relaxing journey on the Casino Mini Rail, and for those who take the time to visit the club's rail museum, can reminisce of an era when things in life were a little more relaxed and simple. At this point, we would like to thank all of those who have volunteered their time and efforts over the years for the enjoyment of families who travel on the trains and visit the museum. Thanks for watching our passage through time.